I decided to go with electronic arts because it's a more challenging major. That's what I've heard anyway, or that's what I heard at the time. And I wanted to be challenged, and I wanted to make a bigger project, and you just have more freedom with it. They kind of just like they tell you what you need to do, and they just like, okay, go see how you can do it. And that sounds bad, but really the best way to learn is to do it yourself. So
I picked electronic arts because I wanted to do something with audio. I'm a drummer, so I needed to make noise. So I didn't want to be a music major because I didn't want to teach. So I figured if I do electronic arts, I can like be in the productions and actually doing stuff, and that's like the coolest thing ever. So I picked it.
Yeah, I mean, along the same lines, I guess. I had been interested in audio we're both audio majors, so I had been doing audio in my own home studio for a while already. So Missouri State offered the right major for me in the right place, and the electronic arts program got really good reviews. It was kind of exclusive, like what Sarah was saying. So I mean, it is. So you know, you do have to go through quite a few like different exams and stuff like that in order to get admitted into the program, reviews and stuff. So it was a challenge which I liked, and so I just
like with EA, you learn everything. So right now I do music. I have my own engineering business where I have the clientels that I work with, I produce for and do their music. And EA introduced me into the film side and helped continue my music as well. So I got two trades that I can look for. I like them both equally, so I can't really decide on, do I want to go this way or do I want to go this way. It's just like, they're both cool.
My minor is marketing, so I originally picked it to help market myself in my studio. Since then, I've kind of been more interested in it. There's a lot that has to do. Right now, I'm taking a Principles of Advertising class, and advertising has a lot to do with media. I mean, there's a ton of media built into it, obviously. So I think my knowledge that I have in EA is helping me actually in my marketing, and kind of the opposite way as well. So I really enjoy my minor.
Well, my minor is mass media production. I figured EA production, mass media production. I can get a lot of information, but it ended up being a lot of theory. So I know why these things happen, and now in EA I know how to apply it too, so it kind of worked out.
my minor is art, and art was just like, it was my thing in high school, and I didn't want to let go of it. But it's also, like Logan was talking about, it goes back and forth. I feel like I've learned a lot creatively with my art minor that I can bring into video as well, just like composition and things like that.
My favorite part about the major is the fact that when you get a project, it's just like a guideline, and we mold it and shape it into what we want to do, and not just some old passed down curriculum for like 10 years, like, yeah, we're gonna do this again, like every other class is done. We make something unique each time. And what I really like about it is it's really fast paced. Like in the junior level class, Art 300, you get 3 weeks to make a project.
Or less.
And
or
these are like extensive projects, like things you could never do it through. Somebody made an app.
Yeah. we had a week one time. Actually, it was less than a week. It was 6 days to create an entire original song.
Yeah.
A whole song.
Yeah.
And we did. And we did.
We made a rap song.
We made a rap song. Yeah.
The one I helped create is actually in Craig Hall now.
It's actually very good. Yeah.
And then the cool thing about that, I'll just take over for you, Alex. The cool thing about that class was we created the song, and then when we were done with it in a week, we actually gave it to another group, and they took our song and created a video with it. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't really feel like there's any other, like, major out there that you're going to find that kind of, like, interaction with other people in your major.
Collaboration.
Yeah, it's all about collaboration in EA. I mean,
like, if you hate group projects,
this is not the end.
Well, but the thing
we, like,
is,
live together.
About EA, though, is, like, everybody that's in EA is someone that works hard. Like, you don't just get into EA. It's not easy to get in, but it's worth it. Yeah. And, yeah, it's a collaborative major, and you have, like, 4 different aspects. So there's video, audio, animation, and multimedia, which is like app development and stuff like that. So it's like taking all of these different aspects of creativity and smashing them together and just seeing what we can do with it. It's like, I don't know, it's just super cool.
It's like a bunch of kids in the playground.
Yeah.
Building things.
Our senior thesis is a short film, and there's a band called Dead Man's Bones out there. It's like a pet project that Ryan Gosling, the Ryan Gosling, and Zach Shields, his friend, did in like 2009, and it has like ghost stories and love ghost stories throughout it. Like they wrote ghost stories and then they made songs, and they're really raw. They only recorded each track 3 times, so they just wanted it to sound, it is not supposed to be perfect. And so we wrote a script inspired by the album, and it's a short film. It's called Dead on Time, because we're not allowed to use the actual name of the album.
Trademark, legal issues.
Yeah. And so we're using parts of, I think, 9 songs from the album throughout our movie. We're buying the rights to it. We've been in contact with a record company in LA. Our main character is Theo, and he dies in the beginning, and he comes back as a ghost, and he ends up having to protect his wife from evil demons that are living in her house. Well, I don't know if I should tell that.
It's pretty sketch.
Yeah, it's like
we don't want to give it away to anybody.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come out, it won't be finished until around May.
Yeah.
At the Electronic Arts Showcase.
Yeah. Yeah, so they had to ask the artist if it was okay for us to use it.
And by artist,
me and Ryan
Ryan.
Gosling.
It's like, oh yeah, sure.
So we're not implying that Ryan Gosling knows, but he definitely does.
Yeah.
He definitely knows. He knows.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about that.
And that's the other thing, just to put another blip in about EA, is like, I don't think I would have ever gotten the opportunity to go through with something like this unless I would have been with a group that was also dedicated enough to go for something like this. This isn't something you do at our age. I mean, it's not something you ever do unless you really take the leap that, you know, we were able to take. And I think it's awesome that we had the chance to be able to do something.
Another cool thing about EA is, like, you work super hard and you do all these things that you would have never done before, and you have to do it yourself and do it from scratch, and then at the end of the year you show all
we
your
have
stuff.
students that are working on a game that's going to have, I think, around 4 different levels to it. And I'm not talking about just like a side scroller. I'm not talking about like Pong or anything like that. This is a full-on game, something you would find on like Steam or in stores or anything like that. We have another group that's working on like an augmented reality app, and then there's another film group as well that's working on a separate film, and we also have another group in our class that's working on a DIY.
It's like a documentary about building a band from the ground up.
Yeah.
So that should be kind of cool.
So, and they've actually started a new band, and we're getting shows now and documenting all of it. And they started doing that just for
Basically, if for your senior thesis you don't want to write a 20-page paper, you should be in it.
Yeah, exactly.